What is going on to all my Only Murders in the Building fans, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. We are back discussing Season 2, Episode 6, titled Performance Review, an episode that really focuses on our characters' past, their insecurities, and we're going to be talking about Mabel. I have a theory I want to share with you all in regards to who she might be related to. We're also talking about Cinda and the secrets that she's hiding. We're discussing that and so much more in today's spoiler review. But before we get into the breakdown, if you all enjoy theory videos, prediction videos, ranking videos, well, make sure you're checking me out on Instagram as well as on TikTok. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the community. If you enjoy early movie reviews, daily and weekly TV breakdowns, and live streams, well, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. If you all enjoy this review, make sure you're giving it a thumbs up as well as sharing it. But more importantly, let's talk about this episode in the comments. From Mabel and her past and her rage and her stabbing people and cooking people's fingers apparently, and Charles and his insecurities, and do we believe Oliver's going to find out that William isn't his son, and Cinda, what secrets is she hiding? And another thing, can we trust Poppy? Let's talk about it in the comments below. We got a full breakdown with a lot of good stuff to talk about. With that being said, full spoilers ahead as we open the episode with meeting this character by the name of Jimmy Russo, who is a character that knew Mabel back in the day. He's meeting with Cinda. But speaking of Cinda, we spent a little bit more time this episode with Poppy, as we know her to be the assistant that does everything for Cinda, including making excuses for her to use the bathroom. As we transition to seeing Mabel and Alice and their relationship continue to grow, but we see that Mabel's past is something that she wants to keep a secret, in particularly her father, which she doesn't want to bring up. Let's parallel that relationship with what's going on with Jan and Charles, who we see Jan is continuing to tell Charles that she still loves him. And don't we all just feel so bad for Charles, matching that with what's going on with Oliver as he's waiting to get the results from his DNA test. Again, this episode and this season so far has done a good job of kind of peeling the onions back of our characters, right? They're our heroes. We love them. We love spending time with them, but they have a past. They have their faults. They have their insecurities, and they have their rage that we'll talk about with Mabel. And one thing I want to bring up and I want to pose to you all right now, let's start to have this conversation in the comments. You all know for the past, 5 weeks, I've been talking about Rose Cooper. Is she related to Alice? Which I still think there is a relation there. But I'm starting to think, where is her auntie? I'm talking about Mabel. We know she's on vacation. Could it be that Mabel is somehow related to Rose Cooper herself via, another auntie or the sister of her auntie that's on vacation? I'm starting to think about it because she has this past, this mysterious past. She doesn't want to tell anyone who her father is. Whew, there's some stuff to talk about. We're going to get to that in this video, but getting back into the breakdown here, we officially meet Naomi, who we know is the replacement of Charles on his hit TV show. Love the scene. I thought it was so funny in regards to him and his Alzheimer's, and he did take the job. He's in the wheelchair. Speaking of wheelchair, his stunt double, Sazz, is back in action as we see Oliver showing our crew, including Lucy, who makes a brief appearance in this episode, the footage that he found from the diner, and they kind of put two and two together. Wait a minute, there might be a fingerprints that we can use from the matchbox, and this is where they make a message to Detective Williams, who we'll talk about a little bit later, as we have a moment here. And I want to take a moment to talk about relationships here, and particularly with Charles. We know he's vulnerable. He's back with his ex-crazy killer girlfriend. But we meet Joy, who he knows from the past. She used to be his hair and makeup guy from when he was the star on his show. And they're hitting it off. And he's like, oh, I'm not interested. I'm a single man. And I love the comment by Oliver. He has to go through his whole phase. Again, their comedy is so great. But man, Charles has a thing for women with the letter J. So let me know if y'all want to see Joy replace Jan in this season for our boy Charles to find a new girlfriend. Let me know your thoughts on all of that. Getting back into our detectives of this episode, we get the return of Detective Cripps, who brings the crew up to speed, and he has Cinda there, and he just wants them to stop doing podcasting because he's continuously getting anonymous calls. Speaking of Cinda, she tells everyone about the conversation she had with Jimmy, but in particularly this rage and anger that Mabel has past, and she is determined to bring her down for justice. As we see, Mabel is trying to attempt to get Poppy, wants her to speak up as Cinda whistles her like a dog. Meanwhile, we see that our crew has found out that they have not been texting Detective Williams because she is in Denver. They have been texting the killer this whole time. So now we're like, okay, this killer's very smart. He's able to, get a detective's phone number and make it seem like he is the person, he or she is, pretending to be the detective. So there's someone that's tech savvy. Who do we know that's tech savvy in this show? And again, is it someone that's connected to Cinda, who we know, or Cinda, I'm sorry. She has a lot of connections. And again, she's determined to get a good story, who we'll talk a little bit about later. But again, the whole idea, the plan at hand is Oliver comes up with the idea, let's make a glitter bomb. And we're going to send the killer, that he or she wants them to meet him at the park. And they're going to give them the evidence, and they're going to blow this glitter bomb on them so they can see who it is. Doesn't work out that easily. As we get back into our team here, as they await the killer, we see Poppy takes Mabel's advice, and we see that Cinda agrees to have a conversation about a promotion, which we'll get into in a second. Fast forwarding to the podcast, which has now been out, and is revealed that Mabel chopped off Jimmy's finger and actually cooked it, as we actually find out the truth, or is it the truth? Mabel tells our crew this guy was coming on to her. She pushed him accidentally, and then his finger got chopped off. So that's the story. But again, can we trust her? I trust Mabel, don't get me wrong. But again, this mysterious past is something I'm looking forward to discovering. As we see our crew, Oliver and Mabel, find out that Charles has been in connection with his ex-girlfriend Jan, and that they are dating again. And this is again when I'm talking about the insecurities of our characters, as Charles is kind of letting out that he doesn't like confrontation, right? And by the way, when Steve Martin says that he was 75, which in real life he's I think 76 now, he does not look a day over 75. Like, my man, like, the whole cast looks great. But again, I love how this show and this season in particularly is, we have fun with our characters. They're great at what they're doing, but I love that we're just meeting them, learning them, discovering what makes them tick, how they feel vulnerable, how they feel insecure. It just makes me love the show even more when we can find out new things about our characters that makes them human, that makes them one of us. That's one of the things I love about this show. But as I get back and digress here, let's get back into the conversation, because damn it, as our crew is talking and as Charles is kind of venting to our crew and he's talking about his father and things of that nature, the killer has arrived and their plan doesn't work out because they run off, as we see them do. And speaking of run off, I love the joke when they say Mabel always runs off every 3 to 4 episodes. As we cut back to Poppy, who it is time to get her performance review, and Cinda tells her she's never going to promote her, and she's kind of at her ceiling. You're great at your job at texting me when to poop and picking things out of my food, so that's as high as you're going to go. Which, when she said that, I immediately went in my head, there's something more to Poppy. There is, as we'll talk about her a little bit later, but I feel like there is something that Poppy's hiding. Everyone has a secret, and I have my eye on Poppy. But let's get back into the breakdown as Charles sends Sazz to break up with Jan, and connecting the pieces again to this one toxic relationship onto another. We see Mabel discovers the secret project that Alice has set up, as she's recreated all the tragedies that was set up in season 1. And we see she's like, wait, I want to explain to you. What exactly can you explain? You're like, this is trauma. This is horrible stuff that you're doing. Again, Alice, and like I said, look at the toxicity in the relationship between Jan and Charles, and obviously relating that to Alice, as well as what we have with Mabel. Two very interesting relationships that aren't good for either one of our characters. But again, what the hell was Alice thinking? I guess we'll find out next week if Mabel allows her to talk to her, if she's not in jail after what she does at the end of this episode, which we get back into it here as Poppy calls Mabel to tell her that Cinda is willing to do anything for a story, and she knows where she hides her bodies and where they are buried, and she wants to help our crew out. Meanwhile, the glittered bomb killer is on the same train with Mabel. As they lock eyes, he approaches her. We cut to the end of the episode where Oliver gets a message from his son William of Mabel stabbing the killer, which it looked like in the arm. I don't think she killed him by any means. It's like she just stabbed him in the chest or in the arm, like I said, making it look like she's guilty in the eye of the public, because we know this video will go viral. So yeah, Mabel, stabby, anger, rage. Now, again, as we know, she was protecting herself. She knows that this is probably the killer. Who is the killer? Who are they working for potentially? But it's not going to look good for our Mabel character. So before we head out, just a couple questions I want to pose to you all. Number one, who is the killer? Were they hired by Cinda? Can we really trust Poppy is a question I have for you all. What secrets is Cinda hiding? And again, going back to, we know that Mabel's aunt is on vacation. How long is she going to be on vacation, number one? But also, are they at all related to Rose Cooper? Let's talk about that. A couple more questions. What will happen with Jan now? Will Alice, what her excuse will be for setting up this art project? And again, is Teddy the father of Williams? A couple questions that I have. Let me know your thoughts on all that. Another fantastic episode. Again, the things that I really enjoyed is the development of our characters. Again, their past, their insecurities, their bad decision makings, their relationships with their fathers, or the secrets of their fathers and their past relationships with their relatives, which I'm really loving that element of the show. It's so great. Again, did Cinda hire this particular killer to just come up with a story, or is it Poppy? I guess we'll find out next week. Another fantastic of this incredible show. I want to know your thoughts in the comments, pros, cons, thoughts, and theories, and everything in between. Thank you all once again for watching this review. Before you all leave, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, share the video. Again, comment your thoughts in the comment section. And of course, if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, come and join the community. If you're already part of the community, you know how I feel about you. You're absolutely awesome. Hope you all are staying safe. Hope you enjoyed today's breakdown. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my previous reviews for the show. Check out my most recent review, and we'll catch you all on the next breakdown.